Gotta get shit done. Hold on, make sure I'm in shot. Don't want to waste my time. Yeah, hold on. Makes more sense. So yeah, gonna get things done today, so I want to get out of the way. If you don't know me, my name's Paul Murray. I specialise in coaching men 40 plus, as I call them, aging athletes. Those type of guys that played competitive sports in their younger days and still got that hunger and fire in their belly, but also they've gained the belly through just modern day living. So I do things very simply. I use kettlebells, mace bells, gymnastic rings, body weight, old school methods for old school bodies. And I'm currently recovering from a shoulder injury. So I dislocated my shoulder about 5 weeks ago, and I'm rehabbing it. And the idea of my training is to show guys that you can train around injuries. You don't train through them. You can train around them. And it's about, especially when you're getting back into the game, it's about creating habits. It's not about the actual workout. The outcome for you at this moment in time is to make sure you get at least 3 sessions a week done, because you're then creating a habit that allows you to start maneuvering things in your schedule to accommodate exercise as one of the priorities. And once you can do that, consistency is king. And once you do that, it allows you to continually improve. For example, when I'm strong and fit, I'll always gravitate towards kettlebells and heavy lifting and cool body weight stuff that's going to challenge me, and I'm just going to avoid mobility, because mobility is my kryptonite. I hate it because I'm crap at it. But this injury has woken me up to the fact I'm 49, not 29. So I'm taking stock of this, and I'm using this time to use my own programming, my own training system, the Royal Court sessions, to rehab and get myself back in. The Royal Court session is a very simple 3 exercise combo that you do in a flow-like state, or as close to flow as possible. And then you'll do a main list activity. Could be bench press, could be kettlebell snatching, could be mobility. Today's going to be mobility. And I just amalgamate this so guys can get a combination program for workouts that give you tons of mobility, which is exactly what men like us need, and also allow you to build strength and skills with body weight, kettlebells or barbell. So it gets you a good workout in a short period of time, between 30 minutes to an hour, 3 times a week. Perfect. So today's Royal Court is going to be, I'm starting snatching again, so I'm going to warm up with 14. I'm just going to do 3 snatches each arm, 5 push-ups in the ring, so it means I can walk out and change the angle, because right now I can't do a push-up in the shoulder, but I can do push-ups at an angle that tests me. And I'm a big believer in the pain scale of 4. So anything that's over a 4, you don't do. If it's under 4, you can ingrain the pattern and build some sort of strength back into it. Just gotta be careful. And again, it's injury, things happen. And then I'm gonna do a lot of mobility. So let's get started. Just do the first Royal Court. This is my good arm, so it's no problem. That's good. That's good. So today, we were at the 6 a.m. session, we were having a conversation. No, that's not enough. We're having a conversation at the end of the session about Ozempic, and what's the other one, Mounjaro, the fat loss injections that are being really popularized at the moment. And we're talking about how it can be used for other addictions. They're saying they're looking into other addictions. It's going to maybe help people get over addictions. And one of the guys is saying that's simply because you've no appetite for anything. It just suppresses your appetite, not just your physical appetite, but your mental appetite. It's just everything. And we're talking about how it's becoming so popularized and normalized in society today. And it's like, I struggle, I really do struggle. I understand why, but I still struggle with it. Like, why people are so unwilling to just dig into the struggle and change, because they're looking the physical change from the injections, so they feel good about themselves, and they get validation from others. But I think it's such a shortcut that people don't think people realise that if you're changing the physicality, but you're not changing the mentality and the emotional being inside of you, then nothing's changed. And you're still that version of you that was overweight and unhappy. Only you're in a slimmer body, but you're enslaved to these injections. Once those injections stop, that's it. And the other thing that I find really difficult about these injections is, like, it takes up to 30% of your muscle mass. So that's why these people who you see who were like really huge and now they're skinny within 6-7 months, they're getting all this validation and praise. It's feeding an already traumatized ego, and it's not actually helping them become stronger. And I think that's what's missing in society today, the fear of the struggle. You've just got to, you're creating it yourself, whether consciously or unconsciously, and you're going to continue until you become a different person, until you become a different man. And all these experiences are, in my opinion, are the universe giving you a knock on the door telling you, like, you're going to continue getting what you get until you do something differently. And it's the doing something differently. It's the undertaking of the struggle and overcoming it that builds confidence, builds self-belief, changes who you are fundamentally as a man. And one of those type of changes would be, you're going to look after your body, you're committing to a different timetable. Whereas, like I said, you prioritize exercise. You ensure that is part of your daily routine in some shape or form. You start recognizing you're worthy. And that's what exercise offers, guys. See, too many guys focus their attention on the difficulty and the challenge and how hard it's going to be and how much you failed before and all these negative thoughts that are just manifesting more of what you get, of what you're going to get. Because it's actual living proof that you're creating your life, because you're getting exactly what you're thinking. So you've got it. So the Mounjaro and Ozempic, they're not the cure. They're just the cover. That's the new addiction. You become addicted to them because you need them for your sense of self-worth, because you haven't cultivated self-worth through struggle. And that's the beauty of exercise. It's struggle. Exercise is just honesty. It's non-judgmental. We put the judgments on it. It's just there to do or do not. And you'll either benefit or you'll not. And when you can think like that and recognize it, and you know what, here's the thing. See, if you're the type of guy that's happy being obese, more power to you. If that's what you want out of your life, then I'm not here to judge you. No one should. It's your choice. And if you're embracing that, then embrace that. And embrace the fact that in the next few years, you're going to need a lot of help. Like, if you want to be obese and understand that if you continue on the lifestyle you're living and you make peace with this, that every year is going to get worse because you're going to eat more, you're going to consume more. You're going to need more because you're going to continually fill that hole. It's an unfillable hole. And that's fine. But then be comfortable with not being able to wipe your ass. Be comfortable with struggling to get in and out of a chair. Be comfortable with the joint pains and all the other ailments and illnesses that accompany your life choice. And if you can make peace with that and you're happy with that, and you're happy with the fact that you won't be able to hit a hard on, and you have the testosterone of a fucking prepubescent girl, and you'll never see your dick again. That's genuinely, if you're happy with that, then I'd say go for it. But if you're not, then do something. It's that simple. I didn't say it's easy, but it is that simple. Just make a decision as a man to do something. And what you do is your decision, it's your call. And it's got to fit into your lifestyle in the beginning. You're going to change. These decisions you're going to make will change as you progress. That's the beauty of the exercise. As you get better, your desires, your goals will shift. And they'll shift because you'll have so much tangible evidence from actual experience and realizing that you can achieve these things, that it no longer feels like the fear it feels to the guy who hasn't trained in 10 years right now. Because right now all you can do is focus on the negative aspects, the justifications. That's your ego. That's the self-doubt. That's the protection mechanism kicking in to make sure that you stay where you are. It's doing its job. But it's up to you as the man to recognize that it's no longer needed. You can let it go. Second, and hire someone else in. Someone else who's going to tell you that you can do it. Because the only way you become the man that has the body you think of, that you'd like, is by acting like that guy. And that means you have to change aspects of who you are today. The aspects that don't correlate with the decisions needed to become that guy. It's so simplistic in nature. So then you got to ask, why is it that we're in mind more obese, more anxious, more suicidal, more depressed than any time in known society, with all this technology and ease of life? And that, in my opinion, is because of all the technology and ease of life. You know, they've done that experiment with the mice, and what they done was they gave mice a mice utopia. They didn't want for anything. They had to have as much sex as they wanted, eat as much food as they wanted, and they just watched it. And what your man noticed was, like, every single time, he had to do the experiment times, because every single time the mice did the same thing. They ate themselves into obesity, they died, they stopped having sex, they became homosexual, and they started copulating with same-sex mice, and eventually population died out. And it was because they were given everything they needed. We need to recognize that as beings, whether you believe in evolution or whatever, like over time, 100 years ago, life was harder. You couldn't just go to the tap faucet and fill up some water and then pour into the kettle and boil it up quickly and go get your instant coffee or whatever, your coffee beans, and grind them up. If you wanted a coffee, you had to get the fire going. And then once you got the fire going, you had to get the kettle boiled. And you probably have to fill the kettle from a tap outside. And then you have to wait for it to boil. Meanwhile, you have to grind the beans by hand. And then you get your coffee. You know, even that effort, you'd appreciate that coffee more. And when you appreciate something, you enjoy it. We don't appreciate our bodies anymore. We don't appreciate the magic, the power, and the gifts it can give us, because we've lost connection with it, and life is too easy. And it used to be that the struggle wasn't anything other than normality, and it allowed you to express the beauty and wonder of these amazing meat suits we have when we're in this incarnation. They're powerful, they're amazing. And I think it frustrates me because I see so many guys just living a lie, just lying. They're never truly embracing who they are. They hide behind the fat bodies and say they're happy, but they're not. They're not happy, and we know they're not happy. And it's that male ego of being vulnerable and, expressing who you truly are and what you truly want, and then having to, because men say it out loud, and then we don't succeed. We feel shame, we feel guilt, we feel embarrassment. So rather than actually embracing the struggle, we hide from it and justify it, and it just leads to more disconnection with ourselves. And it kills me to watch so many men give up, because you don't need to be the Facebook, Instagram, TikTok dad bod guy, like with the ripped abs. You don't have to be that guy. You just have to be the guy that's happy with who he looks, or how he looks, how he moves, and how he feels. A guy who, when he looks in the mirror, he goes, yes, I'm really proud of that stares back at me. The guy that is happy in a t-shirt, looks good in a shirt. Like, I'm from Ireland, right? The most you'll see me is a t-shirt, maybe top off if it's really, really hot. But all I need for me is to carry my clothes well, feel confident, and know that my body serves the purposes I ask of it. And if committing to an hour a day of simple, gentle exercising that's progressively structured so that you're always getting stronger, you're always improving, but not getting injured, then why wouldn't I? And I really struggle to understand why so many guys resist it. It's like they're so disconnected from what struggle is that they've lost it. But like, if you're my age, you grew up in the late 70s and 80s. If you're older than me, then you grew up in the 70s. No, like, you're used to struggle in a way. You're used to repercussions. You're used to having to take ownership of your words and recognizing that when you call someone a name, you risk getting a punch in the face. There was instant repercussions for action. But yet, so many guys my age now have become so institutionalized from the corporate world and worried about their reputation that they've gone soft and they've lost the connection with the man inside. But he's still there. And that's why so many guys have anger issues and suppress food, or suppress it with food and drink and drugs and gambling and porn and secret affairs and doing so on all this shit that every man basically does in some way or shape or form, because they're not expressing who they truly are. They're living a lie. They're performing, and the performance is, you can see the weight of the performance. They're pretending to be someone they're not. They're worried about judgment. It goes like this, and I just see it so clearly, because I see it because I've been there and I've done that, and I've worked through it, and I understand there are so many men doing the same thing. But you can see in society just how many men are just disconnected with who they are, and the impact it's having on us as a collective. And this is why I say, like, just a simple decision. No more. I am no longer that man. I'm no longer the man that justifies having the extra pizzas or not going out for a walk or, not going to bed. Or just stupidly simple structural changes in your life. Things that are impossible to fail. Only if the only other option, the only being be you. There's no one else to blame for it. Like, I'm not going to go on my phone an hour before I go to bed, and I'm going to go to bed every night at 9 o'clock. Just say that, right? There's no one else putting a barrier in front of you at that point except you. So that means you have to take complete ownership of the actions if you fail to do it, and complete ownership of the actions if you succeed. And then the second thing you got to do is, even though it's very childlike, it's like you're praising an 8-year-old or a 6-year-old, which technically you are, because it's a 6-year-old self that's probably playing out these programs that are holding you back. But when you do it, you praise yourself like you would your 6-year-old child for doing something good. The way we can critique ourselves, couldn't get that word out, critique ourselves over anything and everything, and we find it so easy to berate ourselves and belittle our achievements and validate our failures. You know, you can't get, oh, I couldn't do that, you know, that's what it is. Oh, sure, I like the outbeat, whatever bullshit story you're telling yourself. If you can do that as easy as it just blurbing out something, but you struggle to, on the inverse, compliment yourself when you achieve something with as much energy in the positive as you do in the download, putting yourself down in the negative, there's something imbalanced in you. There's something you need to look at, because we all should be our own biggest fan. That's where we should all be going. Every one of us should believe in ourselves, but we've been taught that it's egotistical and that it's like you're being big-headed. You're not being big-headed. You're believing in who you are. And allegedly there's 8 billion people on this earth. So that means there's like nearly 8 billion people who can hate you. So why would you be one of those numbers? Why don't you stand out from the crowd and actually believe in yourself and be proud of who you are and your achievements? You don't have to be big-headed and you know, up everyone else's arse about it, but you can speak positively and well about yourself. You can just talk and say, yeah, I'm actually really proud of myself for doing that. I'm proud of myself for what I got through there. You know, I'm proud of myself for look what I've achieved. Hey, I'm really happy. Look, do you want to see what I've done? Look, there's nothing wrong with being like that. It's a society that's got a collective consciousness in it that's causing the issue, because on social media, we all applaud it, but behind each other's backs, we backstab it. It's a disgusting way to be. And it's a cancer in society, with Tico to call it. It's a parasitical energy running through the collective. And we're starting to wake up from it. People are starting to see it. People are starting to get bored of the influencers and the crap that's coming on social media. They can't say no to it yet, because there's a habit to be broken, an addiction there. But people are starting to go, oh, just this, and this is why we're just looking for something exciting on social media all the time, because we're empty inside and we're looking for external sources to entertain us and distract us. So everything I do is about the mind, body, and soul. It's like the emotional field, the mental field, and the physical. Couldn't think of the word there. 10.5. Yeah, well, I have to drop the weight. Do it more intelligently. 5s. Sorry, talking to myself there, just making decisions on weights to use. Slowly but surely building up confidence in this shoulder. Right, going to 16s now. So yeah, I'm going back to what I was saying. I'm just a believer that every man has been given an opportunity to change their lives. And it is readily available for anyone. But you've got to make the decision to become that guy that will do it. You can't change who you are, but keep the same habits and beliefs of the guy you are today. The guy you are today got you to where you are today. Thank him for it. He'd done you a service. You needed him to get to here, but he's now no longer serving you. You're just familiar with him. And you now need to start identifying with another version of you. And it's going to be uncomfortable to do that because your nervous system has been programmed through your thoughts and your feelings that you emit from these chemical responses, basically, that trigger you in ways and make you feel uncomfortable or anxious, because all it's doing is doing what it knows best to get you out of the situation so that you feel safe. But a lot of times, that is now, most of the times, that is then the very thing that's blocking you. But it's so comfortable. It's like a child with a soother, or a child with like its favourite blanket. Can't go to sleep without it, can't go anywhere without it. Break down if you lose Teddy or something. You know, or doggy, in my case was. You know, that's all that feeling is. That's who you are right now, and that's what you're identifying with. And you've just got to let go and make the decision that you're going to commit to, like, say, I tell people, like, so the way I do it here, we've got it in Primal, in Lisburn here, we've got a 6-week challenge, and it's not like, it's a kettlebell challenge, but it's not really the challenge in the way people envision, because I know that most people starting training again, the biggest challenge is getting themselves here. And then it's returning once you've had your first session and you've had loads of time to talk to yourself and tell yourself how bad you were and how much stronger. There's even girls here can lift more than you, and oh, it's terrible. And then the excuses will come, oh, it's, you know, it just doesn't suit me time-wise, and all these stories. But that's the old you kicking in the protection mechanisms that you've just become so comfortable with saying and believing that you don't challenge it anymore. So the first week is just saying to yourself, regardless of how I feel or what happens or what props up, I am absolutely doing 3 days a week. I'm doing 3 days. That's it. That's what you're saying. And you'll tell yourself, it doesn't matter if I do half an hour. It doesn't matter if I do an hour. It doesn't matter if I do 40 minutes. All I'm aiming to do is get into the gym and do what I can do for how long I can do it for 3 times this week. That reduces so many barriers, and it allows you to strike up. It's like kicking into an open net, as opposed to having to dribble around 3 defenders, flick it up in the air and do a bicycle kick, which is what most people do. Most people set themselves up for failure by committing to too much too soon. Again, it's an unconscious response from the nervous system and the subconscious mind to get you to quit, setting the barometer so high that, see, I told you couldn't do it. I told you you're not good enough. Validating that feeling within yourself. And that's where it's so important to remove that barrier, and actually not only, it's nearly impossible to ask someone to not think something they've always thought, especially if you're unaware of what's happening. But it isn't unreasonable to say, listen, 3 sessions this week. Let's do Monday, Wednesday, Friday, at a time that suits you. Even if you only get in half an hour, doesn't matter, you're here. Do that, notch up a win. Let's do it again next week. This time, you went to half an hour, let's bring up to 45 minutes. Does that sound good? Sound fair enough? Yes, boom. Commit to 3 sessions of 45 minutes. Then the next week, let's do 3 sessions of 1 hour. Easy. Now you're halfway through the 6 weeks already. You've committed. You've done 9 sessions. And now the week 4, you discuss something, you ask yourself, is 3 the magic number? Or am I starting to enjoy it, and can I facilitate a 4th? Because automatically you've jumped a massive amount of volume in your training. And can I commit to 1 week where I do 4 sessions and reevaluate? Do you know what? 4 didn't suit. It started to put too much pressure on my life. Okay, drop the 3. You've done the minimum. You've done exactly what you said you were going to do. Can do 4. Happy days. Let's do a 4. On week 5, can you add a 5th? Do you need a 5th? Do you want a 5th? Do you want to try and see what it feels like, or are you happy with 4? Are you happy with 3? Do you want to move up to 4? So that's all this is. It's a 6 weeks where you are allowing yourself to create habits. Have you noticed the way I didn't speak about food yet? Why should I? But because I need you to lose 1.5 stones in 6 weeks to validate your emotions and to put it up on Instagram. This is not the gym for you. This is not what I do. I culture habits or create habits. I help you start to recognize what it is you need and what you actually want, and then construct a plan towards achieving that in small incremental ways that allow you to taste success nearly every step of the way. We never train to failure here unless it's strategically implemented for a purpose. We want you to leave the gym feeling better than you did walking in. We want you to feel like you've achieved something, not that you've destroyed yourself, not that you can't sit in the toilet the next day, not that you can't pick the kids up or you can't move, you're not motivated to do other stuff that you have to do every day. That's not what training is. That's what training's become. Training's become that because social media has said so, and we as a collective have agreed to it. My goal is to bring it back through physical community in Primal, and then the online community in the Weathered Warriors. Because I know from all the men's work I've done and the MMA fighting I did and the sports I played, that men perform better when they are surrounded by other men with a similar goal. We like structure. We like hierarchical things. We like to know our place. And the gym gives you that. The gym doesn't judge you. Kettlebells, 32 kilo kettlebell is 32 kilo kettlebell. It's not judging you for not being able to press it or judging you or praising you for pressing it. It just is. Everything about the gym's honest. And you are the one who has the judgments. And that in itself is a powerful thing to realize, because if you're the one judging, then you're the one can change the judgment. But you've got to then ask, why are you judging yourself the way you're judging yourself? Like, how many men will turn up to a gym 3 days a week, like they say, like I spoke about there, for 3 weeks, and they turn up to every session, and instead of praising themselves for doing that, they'll articulate why it wasn't greatest. Oh, you know, I couldn't lift this, I'm not lifting as much time, I couldn't move, I couldn't do that movement there, and all, and I sure can't even get this. It's always why, and I say, listen, I know this because this is what I experience every day. I've been doing this 20 years. This is my experience with people. You know, guys doubting themselves and validating their insecurities out loud because of fear of judgment. They're worried about that people are thinking about them the way they're thinking about themselves. So rather than let anyone get there with that cohort or contort that's going to maybe make them feel bad, they articulate themselves first. Therefore, soothing it. It's okay now if people say that because I've said it, I recognize it myself. Okay, lads, you don't have to laugh at me. No one is laughing at you. You're the one projecting those thoughts onto everyone else, thinking that's what they're thinking, because that's what you're thinking. And I can tell you that I know from experience, most guys in the gym, when the guys who've been here years, when a guy who comes in carrying too much weight and not comfortable with who he is, whatever, comes in, there's always help and praise. Because every one of those guys knows what it feels like to walk through the door first, knows how uncomfortable it is, knows what courage is. That's courage. I tell guys, like, it doesn't matter if you're stepping into the cage for the first time or you're stepping foot into the gym for the first time. If the fear of the energy of the fear is the same within you, then it takes the exact same amount of courage. It's just societally, we'll say, but he's going to get his balls kicked in, he's done this, but that doesn't matter to me. I'm not thinking like that, because I think along the lines of whatever's happened to him, it's taken him a momentous amount of courage to reach out and set foot through doors or ask for help. And that alone warrants respect and honor. So you've got to, so I don't like to judge people like that anymore. I used to, because I judge myself. But the more you realize that every man's carrying his own weight, and we're all struggling with our own identity, and the experiences may differ, but the energy of what's in every man's the same. And that for a lot of guys, setting foot into a gym where they've concocted a mindset of what it's going to be like based off Instagram and all these reels of really fit people, and because they're spending time looking at these fit people wishing they could do these exercises, they're going to get more algorithmically of the same thing, which is going to validate their feelings even more, which is going to exacerbate the problem even more, which means walking through the gym, the door is even harder. And it's like so many men are going through this exact same experience, not realizing that they are just one in hundreds of thousands, because men don't talk, men don't chat, men superficial, we don't ever talk about things that actually impact us. I know I didn't, and I know when I started doing the work and started experiencing the changes in my life and recognizing where I was going wrong, it was an absolute game changer for me. A lot of bad shit had to happen, but with every experience, the opportunities grew. And I wouldn't change it for the world now, to be honest with you, because what I've learned and discovered about myself, and what I've discovered was lies that I was telling myself, and what I can let go of has been life-changing. 2 seconds. Like I said, it just goes back to being willing to struggle and understanding that every man on this earth secretly enjoys struggle. We like to test ourselves. It's in our DNA. We like challenges. We're problem solvers. We like to discover solutions. Whether it be a computer problem now, or problem with your kid, problem with you, your friends, fixing something. Men like to fix things. It's just that society has made us soft, and now life has made us appreciate the easy choices and fear the difficult ones, because we never expose ourselves to any of them. And lack of exposure means that your mind is free to make up stories. And because you never actually went through the process, you don't know if it's true or not. But your subconscious mind in reality doesn't care about that, because you're connecting to it and you're believing it and you're feeling into it. It is true. So you must be willing now to acknowledge that and be ready and willing to let go of it. Don't have to berate yourself, beat yourself about it. Just acknowledge it is what it is and let it go. Step in the new version of you. Let's see what time I'm going to see. I've got people in soon. How long have we been on? I've got another 10 minutes. Good. Because the thing is, if training was all you needed to do, it's as simple as just doing this, and you're going to get in shape. Do this, and you're going to look like that. Why are we all obese? Why is obesity at the highest it's ever been? Why is anxiety and depression just common sentences? Why is the number one cause of death in men under 50 by their own hands? Why are we just accepting it and believing the experts when the truth of what is right in front of our faces? In my opinion, exercise is as much a distraction to a lot of people and an addiction as the substances that they use to depress, because it's not being used. No, let me rephrase that. The idea that we've got of exercise is not correct, in my opinion. Exercise means to everyone physical, but you need to exercise your mind, and you need to exercise your strength to discern your emotions, discernment between your emotions. You need to be able to recognize what is true and what's your story. And that doesn't work physically. That's a mental process, that's an emotional process, and that's the way you've got to approach training. It's load. Physical body, you can only lift a certain amount of load and then your body crumbles. Mental mind, you can only carry so much amount of load before your mind crumbles. Emotional load, you can only carry so much shit within yourself before your body breaks down. This is the way it is, and I think the way the exercise is being approached, it's just tackling one facet. And the reason why it's tackling that one facet is because it's physical. We're dominant, we're eye dominant. Therefore, we will look at something and make a judgment on it very quickly. And it can be validated very quickly, and we can feel good about ourselves very quickly. External validation, not internal, but as long as other people are telling us I'm good, then that feels good. That becomes an addiction. Mental game, no one really goes, what, you can meditate? Let's watch you meditate for 15 minutes. Wow, and you didn't think of anything? No one in this world praise that. Meditation is an internal validation. But it, like lifting weights, it takes practice, consistency, and time. And a load of failures, a load of self-doubt, not realizing that that is part of the fucking game. When you realize you're talking negatively to yourself because I can't do this, I can't get this, I can't do this at all. Where else do you tell yourself that? Have a correlation, like impact here, and go to yourself, okay, where does my reality match my conversation? That's what I'm doing myself now. That's what I'm doing right now. I've gone, I have avoided doing online training for so many years, and I decided now that I'm going to start pushing online, because I know what I've got to offer is worthwhile, it's effective, it's impactful for men my age and older, and it's training that's designed to target every middle-aged man's issues, what makes their life better. So I've been holding myself back, so I'm now examining that. So where's you have a correlation? What way do you think, and then what way does that aspect of your life turn out? Nobody loves me. marriage has failed. Mum and dad hate me, don't speak to my parents. Mum and dad love me, have the best relationship with me. My kids think I'm a hero, kids usually think you're a hero. My wife loves me, great marriage. You know, it's what you think and how you feel is put out, and then you attract more of. That's how the universe works. That's not woo-woo, that's science, that's physics. We are photons, hovering, vibrating at a certain frequency, not touching, nothing solid. This is all science on the deep molecular level. But when you bring it back to that, you realize that if your frequency and vibration, then you can actually work on changing that. And that's the reason why I'm in the meditation, I'm in the sound bowls so much, because I know the impact it's had in my life and tons of other guys that I know's lives. Okay, last exercise. So I started doing windmills again. So Hero Sport handles. If you instead of buying Indian clubs, get yourself a set of these for like 40 quid or something. Well, they were when I got them, 32 quid or something when I got them. And you attach a bottle to it, and you've got yourself Indian clubs. You can fill the bottle with sand, make it heavier. But if you want to put water and sand in it, that would be a nice wee flavour, because the way the water moves and oscillates, it creates a sort of momentum effect, pulling your arm, distracting a bit and sort of stabilising it. But this is called an Indian club mill. I'm just simply moving my shoulder through the ranges, because it's just a way of extending the lever and making it slightly heavier so the muscle works. Here's the thing about shoulders. Modern day fitness training has meant that we have now focused on this and this and this and this. You'll notice I'm talking here. It's all straight lines. But when you think about how countries were born, it was through conquering. And that meant that shoulders had to do this, 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 and all these other circular movements that are no longer popular in mainstream fitness because they're complex, they take timing, they cause frustration, and it takes discipline and consistency to master them. But because we look upon them as a problem, I don't want to do that, I just want something that's going to get me fit and strong fast, you miss out on something that's like, it's one of the secrets to longevity. Joint mobilization and joint strengthening and lengthening, and strengthening in the lengthened position, most crucially, is literally one of the most important things men my age can do. And the whole idea of the Royal Core Workouts and the weather road training is to combine all of these elements so that you do get longevity and the consistency remains good and the injuries are heavily reduced, unless you're an idiot like me and do a back lever on warmed up, which most of us are. But for the most part, injuries stay at a minimum and your training continues on the way that you've always wanted it, the way you're desiring. And for me, that's like a no-brainer. I don't understand why guys would want anything else. I think too many fellas, one of the big mistakes guys make is they focus on the currently unachievable. Currently unachievable for me would be you're carrying 6 extra stone and you want to have a 6-pack for your wedding in 12 weeks. Not achievable. Now, Are there PTs out there that will get you like that? Absolutely. They'll give you a load of Ozempic or Mounjaro, pump you full of gear, beast you out in their training sessions, starve you absolutely ragged. You'll have great wedding photographs, but you'll also have the rebound impact that happens to so many people. The neural fatigue and exhaustion, the excuse of, oh, I'm honeymoon, where you binge eat, binge drink because you deserve it, because it was a reward. Because look how hard you train for 12 weeks and look at the amount of people that are praising you for it. And look at everyone saying you look amazing. So you fucking deserve to binge out at your wedding, isn't it? Unfortunately, that's not what's really happening. That's just a justification. What's really happening is you hadn't given yourself enough time to create a new identity. And you had a very short time window of focus, 12 weeks, with a very specific goal and outcome that to you meant something. So you were able to achieve it. But that shortcut comes at a cost. Cost will be health benefits, mindset, lack of mindset change, the psychological rebound effect of, how could I do this before, but I can't do it now? I'm useless. You exasperate the guilt and shame programs in us that not many men are willing to look at. But this type of thing happens so many men. I've seen it so many times. It's such a common thing to happen, especially and because guys, again, don't speak about it, don't talk about it, don't acknowledge it or admit it, or even know it's happening to them in some cases. It's never dealt with. It's never encountered. And never fixed. I don't know, I just see this happening so much. So my last exercise around the world, I've upped the weight to 16 and I'm controlling the weight nice and slow. Change legs. That's me done, sorry, I had to say, I wanted to focus over my shoulder. Didn't want to risk it, that's the first time I've used 16s for slow controlled reps like that. So that's it done today. Another workout done. Feeling stronger, ability's getting better. This availability is all. If you're interested, I'm starting my Weather Warrior online programming from next month. You can contact me here, or you can check me on TikTok or Instagram, the Psychedelic PT, or Primal Strength and Movement. See you later.